majestic and everlasting oceans, in the flawless and turquoise seas, in the lovely placid lakes, and in the sparkling and green rivers. I am sure you would have guessed it by now. Yes, I am talking about water. Around 71% of the Earth's surface is covered with water. That includes all the oceans, seas, hot water geysers, glaciers, waterfalls, lakes, ponds, rivers, streams, marshes, swamps, and even the rain and the snow. Now guess what? Not only is water abundant, but it is renewable as well, meaning it renews and recharges itself through the hydrological cycle. Water evaporates from the surface, condenses to form clouds, and precipitates on the ground as rain. This process goes on in a repetitive cycle and ensures that the water remains a renewable source. That's great, right? Well, although water is abundant in nature and is also a renewable resource, yet there are a lot of countries and regions in the world that face the horrors of water scarcity. Water scarcity is a condition when there are insufficient water resources to meet the human and environmental demands of a given area. Look here. Of all the water found on Earth, 97.3 is salt water contained in oceans, which is not suitable for direct human consumption. The remaining 2.7 is the fresh water which can be used for our daily needs. However, a large portion of the fresh water is either trapped in ice caps or it is in the atmosphere as water vapor. So you see, from the vast abundance of water on Earth, only a minute proportion of water can be used for our daily needs, like drinking, washing, cooking, cleaning, and of course, agriculture. Another major contributor to water scarcity is the uneven global distribution of rainfall. We all may have experienced the appeasing rainfall during the monsoons in many parts of India. But that's not the case everywhere else. There are seasonal and annual variations in rainfall. There are many regions in the world that receive very little rainfall, leading to problems like drought. The problem of water scarcity has affected a large part of the world. Around 1.2 billion people live in areas of physical scarcity of water, meaning there is not enough water to meet all demands. Another 1.6 billion people in countries live under economic water shortage, meaning the countries lack the necessary infrastructure to take water from rivers and aquifers. You know what? In 2018, the city of Cape Town was faced with the possibility of day zero. Day zero is defined as the day on which municipal taps will run dry. This was the first potential water crisis in any major city. The United Nations predicts that by 2025, 1.8 billion people will be living in countries or regions with absolute water scarcity. The horror of water scarcity is very real and among the major problems to be faced by the world in the 21st century. So far, we have learned about how water scarcity affects the global population. Now, let's understand what are the other reasons for water scarcity. Let me ask you what comes to your mind when you hear the term water scarcity. Probably few people balancing the mud cars overhead in the scorching heat through drought-affected areas of Rajasthan. Well, it's true in some cases, but they aren't the only places that are affected by water scarcity. We can find this problem even in regions that have adequate rainfall or those having perennial river systems. Surprising, but sadly true. Overexploitation of water resources, deteriorated quality of available water due to pollution, and unequal access of water among different social groups. These are the reasons why even these places can go through the problem of water scarcity. In a region far away, there was a place which had a sizable lake, good groundwater level, and a river flowing through the land. It was blessed with good rainfall as well. Now, due to the favorable conditions, people came from various neighboring places and settled there. They used the water resources available for drinking, washing, cooking, cleaning, and cultivating crops. Everything was going well. However, over time, the settlement grew and the population there increased. To feed the growing population, agriculture was expanded. Water was extensively used for irrigation, so much so that it became the largest consumer of water. Slowly, urban areas began to flourish. Industries and factories began to be set up. This increased the usage of the available water resources. Consequently, water levels in the rivers and the lakes decreased. Over time, dwellers started to extract the water from underground using wells and tube wells and started using it in their houses and farms. Eventually, all this led to a decrease in groundwater levels too. The worry of declining water levels resulted in the restriction on the usage of water with an introduction of water charges. Only the ones who could afford the price could buy the water supply, whereas the ones who couldn't afford faced water scarcity. But the problem did not stop here. Untreated waste from industries, domestic waste from households, and agricultural waste like fertilizers and pesticides all were dumped in the water bodies, polluting them. Rainfall came and went. But the rate of use of water was so high that even good rainfall couldn't solve this menace of water scarcity. Additionally, the people ignored the need to develop any useful infrastructure which could collect the rainwater and conserve it for later use. A major portion of rainwater just got flushed into the river. This place, which was abundant in water, gradually turned into a place struggling with the menace of water scarcity. A sad story. But how did a happy story turn into such a gloomy one? Let's revisit it once again to see what exactly happened there. Demand for water increased with the growing population. Water consumption increased for domestic purposes. To meet food requirements, agriculture expanded and water was used extensively. We saw how industries exploited the use of water. Groundwater was exploited to cope up with the shortage of surface water. Lower quantities of water, its access got limited to only a few. All this led to overexploitation of water and its unequal distribution. So, these factors were responsible for reducing the quantity of water available. Hence, these were the quantitative aspects of water scarcity. Additionally, we also saw how water pollution affected the water's quality. Even good rainfall was not able to help the region. Together, these quantitative and qualitative aspects were responsible for water scarcity.